The date is Thursday, the 29th of May 2025. The time is now 1:49 a.m. Oh, God. Backwards, it's 9:41 or 9:14. That's actually incredible because that's talking about Zechariah. Zechariah chapter 3, which talks about my son Joshua. I won't play it now, but you want to read Zechariah 3 about how Joshua had filthy clothes and Satan was talking to him or something. I can't remember, but yeah, that's talking about my son Joshua. So that's funny. And if you look in the top right hand corner, my battery level is, well, it's just gone to 48%, but it was on 47. And my favorite book of the Bible is Isaiah. I always go to that Bible book first, and Isaiah 47, which matches the battery level, is Isaiah 47 is the fall of Babylon, and Joshua being Zechariah chapter 3 when it was 149, 914 is the 914th chapter of the Bible is Zechariah chapter 3. So that Shroud of Turin document about Joshua is going to bring down Watchtower of Babylon the Great. Isaiah, read it, chapter 47. This is the weather now. Excuse me, in Lincoln, UK. It's 14 degrees. 14 in the Bible actually means double, what's it called? I can't remember now. Anyway, this is the weather. 14 degrees. A double spiritual perfection, I think. Anyway, this is the weather. I'm going to show you a spectacular miracle in a minute. You need to just look through this. Just get to the end of this video because you've never seen anything like it. In fact, it will probably scare people because they will realize that Jehovah does exist and the angel exist, and they time for me to record things on video. You'll see it in a minute, but this is the weather, so I'll play it live. So that's raining at a minute. And that's all over the United Kingdom, just about, from Scotland to down to London. Wow. Anyway, enough of that. Yeah, you've got to see this in a minute when I play this video. I've taken my narration off it, my voice, because it would be distracting. Now, this was the house on the 26th of May 2025 at 1:53 a.m. I was going outside. I went outside and there was supernatural noises again, like there has been for a few weeks. One of the nights it was completely mad. It just was going from, it wasn't the road noise, traffic or anything. It was going from east to west to north to south. It was going crazy. But this is on my wall looking over to the south. Now this house here is 22 Harrier Court, right? And I'll show you. You see, what Jehovah does, he'll give a miracle, but sometimes he'll back it up with another one. But the actual calculations I do to prove who I am, that I am the prophet Elijah, the second coming, they are just as good as the miracle, right? I'll show you in a minute what I mean. Right, that 22 Harrier Court is, there's my house in the blue, look. There's my home, 15 Harrier Court. And then there's number, so I'm standing on the wall there, just about there. And then 22 Harrier Court's there. So that is the house, right? Now, here it is. There you go. Now, if I go back to the other picture because it's clearer, if you look At that house there, you've got a small window on the side, right? I'll get to the supernatural miracle in a minute. You've got the two slats of glass in the window, right? And I'll show you exactly what happened, which I didn't see at the time. I think they're only the cameras picking them up, but it was outside the door. So watch this now. This will scare the news media and Jehovah's Witnesses, I'm sure. Here we go. What? That's a star that was up in the sky. Here we go. We go down. See the lights to the left on the house. I think that's 24. Yeah, 24. There, I got. Look. Those lights appeared. Can you see them? In fact, I'm going to start the video again and get a close-up of that. Here we go. Let's see if we can zoom in on that house so you can see what happens. Right, that's there now. Look. There. Did you see it? Well, you can't miss it, look. And that's a window on the side, but that's too big. But if you look, can you see the door? It's lighting up the bloody door. Look at that for a supernatural miracle, everyone. How can anybody deny that? That's not even possible to deny such a thing. That is, if you look in the Bible, if you ask if any lights have ever appeared in the Bible, like bright lights or something, it says it talks about the pillar of fire with in the wilderness. Is it the tabernacle with Moses? And light always symbolizes God's presence. I just think this is fantastic. This is confirmation. I can back up this by English maths and English gematria calculations. Look, it's outside the door, and it seems to be on the house, the side of the house, but it's actually moving. It's like a fire. Reminds me of Moses and the burning bush, and yeah, that's weird. Oh, I stopped it there. Yeah, look. Yeah. Now you try and explain that away. Now we're going to do the maths. Right. So that, as you can see there, that says 12, but that's 22. There we go. 22 Harrier Court, right? Now, if you put 22 and you write it out, because you have to, you can either use numbers or letters in gematria. You can't mix them up. But what this does, if you know anything about gematria, go and look it up. The Hebrew's letters, nobody knows where the numbers have come from that are assigned to letters. I know it's Jehovah that's done it, because he's a maths, numerology, and gematria expert, like I am. And if you look on the JW website, go and search numerology, and they hate it. They say it's occultish and satanic, basically. They don't even believe in the Bible code, so they're going to be shocked at this. Now, what is interesting, I put in 22 Harrier Court. So the English letters, they're all signed a different letter, and they add up to a certain number. Look, Jehovah's Witnesses and Watchtower, what number it's come up with. 1914. Ho, 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 ho. That's brilliant, isn't it? And what you have to realize is, in the Bible, there are 1189 chapters in the Bible, 1,189 chapters in the Bible. So when you get to the end of it, it starts again, if you know what I mean, like a loop. So it's gone through 1,189. So that's 1,900. So it's gone through again to Isaiah, halfway through the Bible to Isaiah 46. Right, 1914. Right, Now, this is what Jehovah thinks of 1914. This is 22 Harrier Court adds up to a total English gematria value of 1914. We're going to ask Chat on AI and to give us a brief summary of Isaiah chapter 46. Take note, Jehovah's Witnesses. This gets even better, by the way. What is Isaiah chapter 46 talking about? Right, here we go. Listen.
Isaiah chapter 46 addresses the theme of God's sovereignty and the futility of idolatry. In this chapter, God contrasts himself with the idols of Babylon. He emphasizes that while idols are made by human hands and cannot save or bear burdens, he is the living God who carries and sustains his people. The chapter reassures the Israelites of God's power and faithfulness, reminding them that he will fulfill his purposes and promises. It highlights God's role as the creator and redeemer, reinforcing the message that trust in him is far superior to reliance on man-made idols.
Yeah, so the Watchtower is Babylon the Great. My battery was on 47% a few minutes ago. So that's Isaiah 47, the fall of Babylon. So my battery actually matches it. Now, what we're going to do, I don't know what you think of that miracle. I don't think there's any other way, is there? Right, 22 Harrier Court. So we'll now put those numbers in this. That's the 1914, 1914. We'll put them in this order. 9141. And it's Ezekiel chapter 16, unfortunately, my ex-wife Samantha. Ezekiel 16 is talking about an adulterous wife, right? Now, in 2006, May 2006, when Jehovah entered into my body, and Elijah, the Holy Spirit as well, and Jehovah entered into me, we became a Trinity, right? My wife on the Friday before the Saturday, on the 6th of May, that happened. On the 5th of May 2006, my wife took the kids away with her. But we've been separated for about 3 years. And unfortunately, she wouldn't let me back, even though I cried and begged her to go back. Eventually, I committed adultery. That's why I got this. Well, I don't know why I got disfellowship. The elders, Simon Eshelby was chairman, David Seven, Baz Gilderdale, and Bob Gash, and the presiding overseer at the time was Fred Bolton. I don't know why they. I came forward because I felt guilty. I love my wife so much. I didn't want to lose her, but I know she'd divorce me. But my love and loyalty to Jehovah, to admit my sins, was more important to me than keeping my children or my wife, right? Now, I know for a fact that Samantha has committed adultery before me. She's been with a few men, right? And this is Ezekiel chapter. This miracle of the two pillars of reddish light outside number 22 Harrier Court, either side of the door, is confirming that this scripture is true. Right, we'll see what Ezekiel 16 says now. What is Ezekiel chapter 16 about? Listen to this.
Ezekiel chapter 16 is a powerful allegorical narrative that uses the imagery of a woman to describe the unfaithfulness of Jerusalem to God. The chapter begins by depicting Jerusalem's origins, likening the city to a newborn abandoned and neglected, but then loved and cared for by God. As the city grows, it becomes beautiful and prosperous, yet it turns to idolatry and infidelity, engaging in unfaithfulness toward God. The chapter details how Jerusalem, despite receiving God's grace and blessings, becomes proud and ungrateful, leading to its spiritual adultery. God condemns Jerusalem for its actions, likening them to the worst forms of betrayal. However, the chapter also expresses a theme of restoration, indicating that God will ultimately bring judgment, but also offer forgiveness and renewal. This chapter serves as a poignant reminder of the consequences of turning away from God, as well as his steadfast love and desire for redemption.
Yeah, that's a brief explanation, but when it talks about like mother, like daughter, yes, Samantha Hashi, or Read What You Are Now, you're just like your mother, like daughter, Iris Gale. And there's so much in that about Samantha being an adulterous wife. Now, if you, those numbers there, 9141, if we go to 1149, so we've got 9141, you can go 1149 now. That's James, that's my name, right? Now, if I get, no, you do not believe this. If I get the black 1984 edition of the New World Translation and turn to, you can do this yourself. Let me turn to page 1149. Right, you look at this. So I've got, that's my name, James, and Jehovah's now confirming that this is talking about me. Yeah. It's actually, 1148 is actually talking about the coming of the Messiah and the 69 weeks. Yeah, and the coming of the Messiah. But I forgot this about, on page 1149, it's Daniel chapter 10. And this is interesting now. What did it say? I can't remember what it said now. Let me just check it is that one. Right, yeah. Verse 1 says, in the third year of Cyrus, the king of Persia, there was a matter revealed to Daniel, whose name was Belteshazzar, and the matter was true, and there was a great military service, and understood the matter. In other Bibles, it says a great war, and this is the great war that's now happening. So James, that's confirming that Watchtower, you are going down regardless of your resistance, right? Now, that's 1149. We can now go, use the numbers 1194, move the 4 to the end. 1194 is Genesis chapter 5, right? And I've got a code about Genesis chapter 5, which I'll show you now. Is it in my downloads? Here we go. Now watch this. Genesis chapter 5. This is Jehovah's hidden message in Genesis. The genealogy of Genesis chapter 5 goes from Adam down through to Noah. So we'll look at this. So it says in Daniel, Genesis chapter 5. This is how Jehovah works through maths and numerology. Adam was the father to Seth. Seth was the father to Enosh. Enosh was father to Canaan, was father to Mahalalel, was father to Jared, was father to Enoch, was father to, oh, I haven't put the O in there, to Methuselah or something, was father to Lamech, was father to Noah. Now we're going to look at what the names mean, and this is amazing. This is shocking scientific proof. What do these names mean? Adam means man, Seth means appointed, Enosh means mortal, Canaan means sorrow, Mahalalel means the blessed God, Jared means shall come down, Enoch means teaching, Methuselah means his death shall bring, Lamech means the despairing, Noah means comfort or rest. And now what we do, we put those list of names and their meanings into a sentence, and you get this, look. Amazing. Now let us read that genealogy as a sentence. Man has been appointed mortal sorrow, but the blessed God shall come down teaching, and his death shall bring the despairing comfort and rest. So that is evidence in Genesis chapter 5 through the names that Jehovah is now living inside of me, and I am Jehovah God, as well as Elijah, as well as the Holy Spirit. What do you think about that? Right? And now just to prove that, if we go to JW, let's have a look what's on jw.org at the minute. Oh, anxiety in men. Find out how some react to anxiety and how the Bible can help. Yeah, you're going to be anxious, Watchtower, when I take you down. You idiots. Oh, ching ching, that's my email. All right, here we go. Right, now watch this talk about Jehovah coming down. Now, Isaiah, it's Isaiah chapter 30. Right. Let me see it there. Let's see what Isaiah chapter 30 about. Yeah, it's Egypt's help completely useless. That's Watchtower. People reject the prophetic message. Yeah, that's Watchtower. Everybody's doing it now. They reject me, being Elijah. Strength by showing trust. Jehovah shows his people favor. Jehovah, the grand instructor. This is the way. Jehovah to execute judgment on Assyria, which is Watchtower again. But there are some codes in there to do with me. My surname, Hashay. So it's Isaiah chapter 30, did I say? Yeah. Now this was the Watchtower's yearly text. I don't know what year it was, but I know it was. Woe to you, the stubborn sons, declares Jehovah. This is for you, Watchtower, if you're listening. The world headquarters and at the Chelmsford Bethel, who make alliances, but not with my spirit, in order to add sin to sin. Let me just see if I can find that. Here it is, look. This is talking about the Bible code, verse 8. Now go write it on a tablet. This tablet, the Galaxy S10 Plus, 7 Plus tablet, in their presence, and inscribe it in a book, the Bible code, King James Bible code, so that it may serve for a future day as a permanent witness. Now look at this. Genesis 5, talk the genealogy, and reading as a sentence proves that Jehovah has come down teaching right now. So if you look at verse 20, Jehovah's Witnesses, go and read it for yourself. And it says there, though Jehovah will give you bread in the form of distress and water, which is what it's saying on jw.org, and anxiety in the form of oppression. Now that is talking about when I start sending the news media it's a black padded envelope. I thought that was appropriate. A4 size, so nothing's folded, with the 200, well, it will be over 707 gigabytes now, probably 7.5, but it says, though Jehovah will give you bread in the form of distress and water in the form of oppression, which will happen when the nations come against Watchtower, your grand instructor will no longer hide himself, and you will see your grand instructor with your own eyes. So there you have it, the truth. I only speak truth anyway. Right, we're going to go on to the calculations now. So we did there, right? 22 Harrier Court, where the two pillars of supernatural light were, and they came up with Ezekiel 16, James, and Genesis. Now, James is connected to that war in Daniel chapter 10, but James is also connected to Genesis chapter 5, which proves I am Jehovah coming down. Right? Do you see? Now, what we do, I live in Lincoln, so we'll go 22 Harrier Court, Lincoln. That gives a total value of 2,388, 2388. Right, 2388. Now, Genesis 10 is not really anything, but if we use those numbers and mix them up, what have I gone there? That was the original. 22 Harrier Court Lincoln is 2388. So we'll mix those numbers up and we'll go 3882, same number but different order, and that gives us 2 Kings chapter 2. Well, watch this. Let's see what 2 Kings chapter 2 is about. What is 2 Kings chapter 2 about? This is unbelievable. And I claim to be Elijah. This is the proof, look. Listen.
2 Kings chapter 2 recounts the story of the prophet Elijah's ascent to heaven and the transfer of his prophetic authority to Elisha. The chapter begins with Elijah and Elisha traveling from Gilgal to Bethel and then to Jericho, where they encounter groups of prophets. Each time, Elijah tells Elisha to stay behind, but Elisha insists on accompanying him. As they reach the Jordan River, Elijah parts the waters with his cloak, allowing them to cross. After crossing, Elijah asks Elisha what he would like before he is taken away. Elisha requests a double portion of Elijah's spirit. Elijah tells him that if he sees him being taken away, his request will be granted. Elijah is then taken up to heaven in a whirlwind, accompanied by a chariot of fire. Elisha witnesses this and picks up Elijah's cloak, symbolizing the transfer of prophetic authority. The chapter concludes with Elisha performing a miracle by parting the Jordan River, demonstrating that he has indeed received Elijah's spirit and authority.
So it's actually 2 Kings chapter 2 verse 11 that talks about Elijah going up to heaven in a chariot of fire, which is interesting because that miracle outside 22 Harrier Court with the 2 pillars of reddish colour, it does look like fire. Now I'm going to show you something here. It's in the New World Translation, which proves that the New World Translation is actually inspired by God. Now, let me have a look where this is. I've got so much in here. I sometimes can't find things. No, I know where it is. Let me just go down to Word documents. We'll go down to Bible codes. I've got so many. This is all the codes I've got in here. There we go. Now, you work out this with that scripture. Harrier Court Lincoln, let me just select it. Oh, I can't, no, that's no good. I'm just trying to find, let me try and find Elijah Hashay, because I've got a better one than this. Right. Oh, there, I've already looked at it. Is this the one? No, it's the same one. I don't know what's happened here. Well, anyway, we'll use this one, look. In fact, I'll just save a copy, and then what I'll do. Right. I'll just select it. And then make it bold because it'll look better then. Right, here we go. This is actually Jehovah's Witnesses New World Translation 2 Kings 2, 11 and 12, which is the scripture. The numbers came up for the miracle outside 22 Harrier Court. I put in 22 Harrier Court Lincoln, and this is what it came up with, look. And as they were walking along, speaking as they walked, suddenly a fiery chariot and fiery horses made a separation between the two of them, and Elijah ascended into the heavens in the windstorm. While Elisha was watching, he was crying out, my father, the chariot of Israel and his horsemen. When he could no longer see him, and he took hold of him, his own garments and ripped them into 2 pieces. Now, as you can see there in the red, my name Hashe, H-A-C-C-H-E, can also, according to Wikipedia, is H-A-C-H-E. So you can take the C out, right? So it's H-A-C-H-E, and that's encoded in the bit where it says, suddenly a fiery chariot and fiery horses made a separation between the 2 of them, and Elijah ascended into the heavens. Look, a skip rate, equidistant skip rate of 11 letters. Every 11 letters, it spells out my name there. And what's even more interesting, where it says, my father, the chariot of Israel and his horsemen, right? Now, in the blue, well, Hayek, H-A-E-C, is the Old English version of my name, Hashe. Hashe, my name, H-A-C-C, is Middle English, and Hatch, H-A-T-C-H, is the modern day English, right? And it actually, my name, Hashe, means gate and door, and Hatch actually means small gate. And Matthew 7:13 says, go in through the narrow gate. And Jesus said, I am the door. So that matches up. But in there, in the blue Hatch, we have the modern day English version, every 6 letters, look. My father, my father. So what's the chances of having 2 Middle English, Hashe, and it's just beyond a coincidence. I've just noticed it says, my father, my father. Well, that's Jehovah. So that's confirming that I am Jehovah then, and Elijah at the same time. So that's good, isn't it? Bit incredible, that. But it gets even better, right? Now, I'm going to show you something even worse. Well, I don't call it worse. Where am I? There. Oh, that was interesting. Look. We just had there, well, that's 1914. Look, 22 Harrier Court, Ezekiel, James, and 1194 is Genesis. Now watch this. We put in 22 Harrier Court, Lincoln, like I said, and we get 2 Kings about Elijah. But look what you get with the combination 8328. 22 Harrier Court, Lincoln, we get Genesis 5 again, back to in circles. Oh, and that proves now that I'm Elijah and Jehovah. I don't care what anybody says. Now, this is a Google, what is it? Not Google Maps, Google Earth. So there's my house, 15 Harrier Court. Right, there's my Velux window where the rain's on now. Now down in the left hand corner, we'll now put that pin, red pin, right at the top of the window. Can you see? Look, there's the is that latitude and longitude? Yeah, 15 right at the top. And we're going to look at the elevation. That means the height above sea level at that point. And it is, as you can see, not making this up, it's 12.15 meters. Now, Jehovah's Witness or anybody, Watchtower, go and look in the Black Bible, the 1984 edition of the New World Translation, and page 1215. Guess what? Malachi chapter 4 and verse 5 says, I will send my prophet Elijah before the great and awe-inspiring day of Jehovah. So that now Jehovah's marked my house is where Elijah lives. Right? You cannot deny that. And it gets even better in a minute. Right. This is the Kingdom Hall, Birchwood Kingdom Hall of Jehovah's Witnesses in Birchwood, Lincoln, on the Birchwood Avenue. And 2.9 miles away, and 29 is my Bible, 2.9 miles away is a hamlet called Jerusalem. Over the A46. Go and read Isaiah 46 about Babylon. Right? It's literally, well, it's a mile to the A46, probably a mile and 1.3 miles, I think it is. right, from the Jerusalem. It's a hamlet without a church, so it's the only place in the UK called Jerusalem. What's the chances of that? And it's right next. You know, years ago, I believe that the Birchwood Kingdom Hall was the third temple, but I couldn't prove it. But since then, I found out that Jerusalem was. I was looking on the map and I saw A46, and I saw Jerusalem. So yeah. So now, if you take there's the longitude. Now 53, my favourite book is Isaiah. Isaiah 53 is talking about the experiences of the Messiah. A lot of people think it's talking about Jesus, but it's not. It's talking about the suffering I went through shunning and being disfellowshipped. But that's 53. But have you noticed the numbers? I think that's longitude and that's latitude, west, I think, northwest, yeah. Now look at those numbers on the Kingdom Hall. It's 0 degrees 3608. Right? 3608. Remember that. Now we'll go to my English Gematria app, which is there. 3608, and that gives us a chapter of Genesis 41, which isn't anything really. But what happens when you go backwards with those numbers? We'll go 8063. Would you believe it? Adam and Eve it. Malachi chapter 4 and verse 5 says, "Look, I will send my prophet Elijah before the great and awe-inspiring day of Jehovah." So not only is the Kingdom Hall confirming that I am Elijah, the top of my Velux window is also confirming that I'm Elijah, and also the miracle outside 22 Harrier Court is also confirming that I'm Elijah through Gematria. Can you see now that Jehovah communicates with me through maths and numerology and Gematria Watchtower? This is no coincidence. When you get a coincidence, one or two maybe a day, but when it's constantly through the day, I just shake my head sometimes, and you just know something good's coming up. Now, to prove that I am Jehovah, now this is the last thing I'm doing because this video's 37 minutes now. Now, this on this page is my bird, my Merlin bird app. Can you see? Right. Now, what you do, if you see this bird, you can click on it, right? Watch. Now, I downloaded this last year. It's a brilliant app. It records the bird sounds and tells you what they are. But I didn't know you could do this when I first downloaded it. So I went like that. And the bottom, it says found it. So if you go and find it on your map, it should come up, look. I'm just going to take... yeah, it should come up. It's not coming up. That's my house anyway. Oh, don't say this is a supernatural miracle again. It's not... The map's not coming up. I think Jehovah's nobbled the map now. Right, I'm just going to take a screenshot of that because I want to show you close. Right. It's not, we'll go back in a minute. But if you look in the left-hand corner, which I couldn't believe my eyes, look what it says. Where my house is located. House of God. Oh, my God. I nearly died when I saw that. House of God, look, confirmed. Right. And I'd never put that in there, and just to prove that, right, here we go, House of God. The map's still gone. If I click on next, oh, there, it's coming up with a bird, but not the map. There, it's got House of God on the left and the date. So if you click on the little pencil icon, you can actually change the date, look, right? But as soon as you press on the House of God, the pencil on there, look, it just goes back to next again, look. You can't edit the bloody thing. I would never think to put the House of God in there. Look, can't do it. Now the interesting thing is on my phone, my Samsung Galaxy S10 phone, if you try and input anything into it, like there, it asks you to put a name for your location, your house. Basically, it comes at the bottom, not connected to the internet. So that's another supernatural miracle when it's always connected to the internet. Anyway, there's my very dark picture of looks like a grim reaper with a scythe in his hand, and the watchtower's on fire. Oh, that's me done now. Anyway, I hope you find that video interesting. Have a good night. Hope you enjoy it. Bye.